Nanjana Shalakaya Chakshu
Chakshunathamena
Shri Gurave.
Namah.
I was born the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes to the shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Okay. So we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, entitled Attaining the Supreme. It's text 23, isn't it?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes. 23.
Yeah, text 23. Okay, can read the Sanskrit. Yatra kale tvanavritam
Yatra kale tvanavitram
avritim chaiva yogina
avitim chaiva yogina
prayatayanti tam kalam
prayata yanti tam kalam
vakshyami bharatarshava.
vakshyami bharatavarshabha. O best of Bharata, I shall now explain to you the different time at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back.
So Arjuna comes in a dynasty from a great king named Bharat. That's why Krishna's addressing him as best of the Bharatas. So in that whole dynasty, from the ancestor was this King Bharat. Krishna's saying, Arjuna, you're the best. You're the best of these great kings. So a whole dynasty of kings, there'll be one king, and then the son would be trained up by the father to be the next king. And this was how it used to be. And now, of course, that system has all gone out the window, and now we have democracy. But it used to be with monarchy like that.
Yeah, it's England still have that one.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But it's going down and down. Some in
But
Denmark.
not proper training anymore, though. That's the thing.
No. I mean,
they just train now how to collect the taxes.
Yeah, and then Prince Charles, he couldn't able to wait till the funeral. He wants to get the crown on his head.
That's not a good sign. That's not a
Well,
good sign. These modern day ones, they're just asuras. They're just demons.
yeah.
And that's why the whole system of monarchy is finished now, because they've just become corrupted by Kali Yuga, by the influence of Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
That said,
another 500 years, there's going to be no monarchs, just a democracy or dictatorship like Russia and China.
Yeah.
Or some countries have the dictatorship, but some they're mostly democratic.
Well, that's one of the symptoms mentioned in 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is that in Kali Yuga, the leaders will be demons. They'll be asuras. So very bad leadership is a symptom of Kali Yuga. So don't expect good leadership because it's very rare. I mean, we might have in some organizations. I mean, like, we were super lucky to have Prabhupada as the leader of ISKCON, but it's very rare to get good leaders in Kali Yuga. And that's mainly because Kali Yuga means mode of ignorance is the main thing. So there's not much training. There's not much training, not much education.
If Kali Yuga will get a good leader,
people are just ignorant, and in ignorance, you just according to your.
Yes. If Kali Yuga, if we do get a good leaders in Kali Yuga, then Krishna's statement become false. Krishna says in Kali Yuga, all the demons. So Krishna's statements can never be false. It cannot be false.
But we should try to be a good leader, whether it's like I was trying to be a leader of the farm or the bhakti tree or whatever. So, I mean, we should try to be a good leader. Even a good leader of a family, or good leader of a organization, a business or whatever. But yeah, especially when you go up to the leadership of countries and things, it becomes very bad. And so these modern day kings, or prime ministers and presidents, and that, yeah, they're very corrupted, very bad. But we should try, and through education and training, then we can get some good leaders. And that's what Prabhupada wanted to do in ISKCON, is set up Varnashram colleges and train people how to be a Paka Brahmana, how to be a Paka Kshatriya, Paka Vaishya, Sudra, training all the different Varnas how to do like that. And that's through education that could be changed like that. But as long as people remain ignorant, then they're going to act like animals, lusty, greedy, angry, envious, jealous, mad, so many bad qualities will be there. Yeah.
People can do anything for the position. Once they got the position, they don't want to lose the position. They can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. They can do anything.
Oh yeah.
And even turn against family members and things.
Oh yeah, it's in the Indian history.
To any extent.
They hang their father, like the kings back in the Muslim kings, in order to get that the position. Yeah. So Aurangzeb was there. He just he killed his father.
Yeah.
In order to get the position. So it's just like
Yeah.
It's.
And we know that Kamsa, right? Kamsa, he was prepared to kill his sister Devaki, and he imprisoned his father Ugrasena. He imprisoned his father, King Ugrasena, and tried to kill his sister and imprisoned everyone. And then he tried to kill all the children, all Devaki's and Vasudev's children.
Yeah.
He just smashed them on the wall of the prison. He's so evil. So people do anything to get a position and power, even going against family, and that's crazy.
That's right. So that's the Krishna's time, and what's now? It's gonna get worse.
Yeah. It's
regardless, they want to keep in the position and the power.
Yeah.
How many people die does not matter.
Yeah, as long as they get some profit out of it. Yeah.
That's right. But then this profit is just for little time. Like one guy was asking me, and he was an English guy, and he was just talking to me, and I said, "Where is the Queen now? Queen of England. Where is she now?" He just got mute. He didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So he says, "What for? All these, things like that. Only need 2-meter box. That's it."
Yeah.
That's the reality. Your great grandparents, my great grandparents, all they gone. It's just like, what is that? Like, don't you think like it has to be what's the purpose for us to live happily rather than anyway. But different way. Like, it's ignorance. Like, it comes to thinking like that with the association. If it doesn't have association, they got like in a meeting, headquarter, making money, and then properties, portfolio, shares, and all that. They got no association. The way they're gonna get this kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
They probably come once in a week to the temple, just put $20 and then prasadam, and just run back home back to the same rat race.
Yeah. This is actually related to what we're talking about today, because the subject now is where are we going to go at the time of death? What determines where you're going to go at the time of death, and it's determined by your consciousness and also by your activities. So two things: your consciousness at the time of death, and the activities of your life that will mold your consciousness at the time of death. Your consciousness at the time of death is going to be filled up with thoughts of all those activities that you've done. Like if you've engaged in a lot of, activities regarding wine, sex, drugs, rock and roll, eat, drink, and be merry, all these kind of modern materialistic activities, then your consciousness is going to be full of that. Thoughts about the opposite sex and money and, power and all these kind of things, eating and so many things. And then that's going to mean you're going to go downhill. So this is what people should be trained in. You should work, but honestly. You should work honestly and just do your duty and not go down the path of being lusty and greedy and, angry and all this kind of stuff, which in the Bhagavad Gita, it mentions. We can look at that in the 16th chapter.
Yeah.
In the 16th chapter, text number. Let's have a look. Yeah, 21. 16th chapter, text 21.
There are 3 gates leading to the hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they leads to degradation of the soul. Okay.
Yeah, so this is what we have to be very careful not to become completely crazy and engage in all these and let the mind victimize us.
You mentioned that honesty. I want to ask you something on this in the honesty.
Yeah.
A lady, I was at the Bhakti tree, and then he was doing some samosas, and then there was from yesterday, and I said, Prabhu, don't fry again and sell it. You give it to the staff because you already made it, fry it, put it there overnight. You put in the fridge, next morning take it out and put in the refry and put it there. 3 samosas, just chuck it. He said, no, we can't waste and all that. And I said, okay, it's your choice. But sometimes we do food there for the next day. So sometimes people ask that, what do you do for the leftover food? I can't say we put in the fridge and next day we can warm it up and serve again, because that's not the way the restaurant should be. I just simply say I send it to the farm, and then the worker devotees over there will eat it. That's it. So today the lady came and she was heavily pregnant, and then she was asking that, she said, I'm very careful. Did you make this rice today? And sometimes we do have leftover rice. Next day we reheat and put it there. So where does the honesty stand? If I say, no, it's yesterday's rice, then she or the other people will listen, they're not going to eat here. And if I say, yes, it is today's, that's a dishonesty. And she's heavily pregnant. If something infection happened, then I try to, save some money and then lie to that. And it could be cause for unborn baby. What should I do in that situation?
There's different angles, different perspectives you can look at it from. I'm just going to turn the light on. It's getting a bit dark. One is from the point of view of business.
Yes.
So it's said that in business, that's part of business, is telling a lie. That, like Prabhupada states, that every businessman will tell the customer, oh, you're my best customer. For you, I'm not making any profit. I'm just giving you this at cost price. But every customer knows he is making a profit. But this is just part of business. Otherwise, he can't stay in business unless he does these kind of things. So that's there. It comes with the occupation, really, with business, is sometimes some lying is there. And that's actually not adharma, means sinful. That's part of the dharma, part of the occupation, is sometimes telling a lie. But if it comes to the point of where you can actually, if you tell a lie, it might hurt someone, then maybe it's not the right thing to do, because we don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not wrong for the business person to make a profit. So, for him saying, I'm giving to you this at cost price or whatever, I'm not making any profit on this one. There's no harm in him making some profit, as long as it's a reasonable profit. That also, we shouldn't be ridiculous. I mean, it costs you $1 to produce an item and you sell it for $50. That's, too much greed. That's
Everybody
greedy.
see that we make
But
profit because salary is there, and then water bill and electricity, gas, and everything
of
counts.
course. Yeah,
We
yeah.
have to pay,
So in terms of, making some profit, sometimes we tell some lies like that, but we shouldn't be ridiculous in how much profit we make. But you have to make some profit. But in terms of, if you tell a lie that might cause someone to get some physical harm or whatever, maybe that's something we shouldn't do. And it's also
I was very.
it's also commonly I mean, even in terms of the health and safety, you're allowed to. I mean, you have
Well,
to
when you cook
you
that
have to
meal
keep the
within 3
food.
hours, you have to put it in the freezer. In the
Yeah,
3 hours, within 3 hours, you have to put in the fridge.
yeah.
But
So
that that
it
stays
has to
here.
go below. It has to be below 5 degrees or above 60, and then not more than 3 hours between 5 and 60. Not more than 3 hours.
That's not true, because that's the curry he makes at 10:30. Offer that to Jagannath and all, and after that in the evening as well reheat it, and it doesn't go in the fridge or anything. And for the lady specifically, and but I was
But
thinking,
I was just saying though. I mean, I'm saying that it's not impossible to use stuff the next day, but I'm saying that it shouldn't be within that 5 to 60 range for more than 3 hours. So, I mean, technically, just telling someone that we made the rice or the curry or whatever yesterday, or the samosa, is not necessarily a bad thing for the restaurant, um, as long as it hasn't been sitting out the whole day. But they don't have to think bad about us just
but
because the food
I
was cooked previously. But
I
however,
think no.
from
Yeah,
our side,
yeah,
if we have just left the food um, lukewarm for the whole day or reheated it once, twice, 3 times, then we should change our ways, because you're running a risk of hurting
yeah.
people.
But I was thinking that lady,
Yeah.
if she go and ask any restaurant, they will say, yeah, it's fresh. Nobody will say it's yesterday's. Nobody. I mean, I said that's question is stupid, because who's gonna say it's yesterday's food? Even if it's 3 days old, they say, yeah, today fresh. Everybody will say, any restaurant you go, nobody will say it's yesterday's food, even if it's yesterday or 2 days old. So her question wasn't really, I said, where are you gonna get the answer? Do you think you're gonna get the honest answer? I don't think so. I didn't say that, but I said, no, yeah, rice is today. But rice was today. But sometimes we do bucket sabji left there, so we just not the next day, we just put it on third day, like a Wednesday. If you got a sabji left over today,
Yeah.
we don't put it on Friday, because if today people will come tomorrow, they say, oh, same sabji as yesterday, so we put
Yeah.
it on Saturday.
Hmm.
1 day gap, and Saturday we just freshen up a little bit and put it up,
Yeah.
because
I
otherwise
mean,
it's going to be
and
too much.
that is a principle of Krishna consciousness, that, I mean, we don't want to waste. We don't want to
Yes,
waste
too much,
things.
right? And like
And
buffet.
that's also, I mean, Krishna's prasadam is not ordinary food, so it has, special properties to it, and it doesn't go bad necessarily the same way that ordinary food does. Although
Yeah.
I have seen prasadam become rotten, so to speak, and you
Oh,
can smell it.
that-
You can smell it. So, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's still, follows the rules of the material world. It
yeah.
becomes just like our body. When it dies, it'll become rotten. So, prasadam also can get spoiled. And so I think we don't want to be ignorant of that. We don't want to ignore these laws of the material nature.
Yeah.
And you know, I personally, when I was managing the restaurant, I didn't want to take risk with people's health. And even if one person gets sick, I mean, you can run the risk of closing down the whole place, you know.
Not
You
even
know,
closing
say-
down, you feel guilty.
Yeah, of course,
No?
you don't want to hurt. And of course, if the lady lost her kid or something like that or whatever,
Thing,
not that
yeah.
that would
So,
happen, but
but I would like to give her a suggestion. If
yeah,
you're like heavily pregnant and you're that much worried, you better eat at home, because no restaurant will tell you honestly. No will tell you honesty. You know, but
but I
because
think with a situation like that, I mean, if I was in that situation, she said like that, you know, I have this particular health condition or whatever like that, whatever, my child, you know, just tell her the truth. That,
yeah,
you
of
know,
course, but I would say to her, like, if you're like that heavily, she was quite heavy pregnant, and I say you should be eat at home, because outside there's no guarantee. People will say fresh, everywhere say fresh. So
mm,
you better be eat at home rather than taking the risk. But anyway, but it's like sometimes we have a next day curry, and then if people will ask that, if someone heavily pregnant, and I probably will tell the truth, it's gotta be have some mix in there.
yeah, I think in that situation, there's no harm just telling them as it is, you know, tell them the
Yeah,
truth like that.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's
don't
it.
have to feel bad
Because
about that. You just, you know,
usually Saturday is the day we just finish up all the curries leftovers. So whatever is left over for Thursday or Friday, we'll just finish it up on, because after that Saturday there's the 3-day restaurant close.
mm,
That's whatever we eat it, or it's going to the bin.
yeah,
Because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday restaurant is closed. So Saturday
yeah,
we just finish it up. It's not much waste in there, but a little bit the waste. It's part of the game. Nothing much you can do.
yeah, of course. You can't avoid it completely. Just
No,
try to
you
make
can't. It's just the wastage. It's just because of the buffet we set it up, and we have to put the buffet till 8 o'clock. Customer can come anytime, but then after 8 o'clock, and restaurant close. So it's like, especially on Saturday after restaurant closed for 3 days, you can't just say, 7 o'clock stop doing this, because it might be closing. But we have to keep the Benbury filled till 8 o'clock,
yeah, of course,
and
yeah,
after that,
yeah,
staff can take, or if not, then it'll be in the bin.
yeah.
No,
But that's something the local management have to work out.
but
But
no, you
as
mentioned
much
that,
as possible, we should be
yeah,
very
we allow
honest
to
and straightforward
lie,
with feelings. Yeah.
little bit. You can lie, Vesha, they can't do a business if you can't lie. You're allowed to get lie a little bit.
Yeah, in business, that's understood. But it's said that you know, if someone's acting as a brahmana, then that's his dharma. He cannot lie. Like it said that you can even ask a brahmana, you know, a difficult question like how much money do you have in the bank or something, and he would just tell you the truth if he's a real brahmana. Or, you know, even a kshatriya is also the same
But then
principle.
again, that brahmana, it shouldn't be working. It should not be get on salary.
I
Brahmana
know
is
that,
that
but
whatever
like if
donation you can get.
no, I'm just saying, you know, what people give donations though to brahmanas.
That's
So,
it. Yeah.
okay, you know, how much money have you collected from your donations? And then if he's a real brahmana, he would just tell you the truth.
But
You know, even if it
Prabhupada
might.
says there is no real brahmana in Kali Yuga, all Shudra.
Well, I mean, that's the general rule, but we shouldn't follow that general rule. Like,
Yeah.
generally in Kali Yuga, everyone's a demon, but are we a demon? You know, we should try not to be a demon.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so we should try to be a devotee, you know, and if we want to be a devotee, we have to act in a way that pleases Krishna, what Krishna wants. And Krishna's saying if you're a Brahmana, you have to be truthful. And if you're a Vaishya, you can tell some lies and you can make some profit like that. So everyone, and if you're a Kshatriya, then you have to have courage in battle. You can't run away. That's what it says. If you want to be a Kshatriya, then if it's the time to fight, you
In
can't turn your back.
yeah,
You know, like that. You can't
I
be a
think
coward.
in Kali Yuga, all that Brahman Kshatriya is not the true, because it's just all different. Like, Brahmanas on the salary, it shouldn't be. And like, the Vaishya is like, it has to be lie a little bit, but they're lying 90%. So, but in Kali Yuga, everything it's false. Well, that's
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, I've seen in the Society of Devotees, there are some, devotees that take their dharmas very seriously.
Very seriously? Oh,
Take
okay.
their dharmas very seriously, yeah.
That Prabhupada disciple, probably.
Not necessarily. Them and also others, yeah. They take it very
Very
seriously. Like that. So, I mean, of course, nothing's going to be 100% perfect in Kali Yuga.
Of course.
You can't expect
Yeah,
100%.
Kali Yuga,
But we have to, the point is we have to try.
Yeah.
We have to try.
Very important.
Yeah, we have to try, otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. Let's read.
And as you know, Krishna's saying here, if you surrender to him, so if you try to become Krishna conscious, he says you can cross over the Maya. You can cross over Maya. That's the famous 7th chapter, text 14. That he says that Maya is very difficult to overcome, but if you
it's
surrender
Krishna's
to him,
energy anyway.
yes, Krishna's energy, so very powerful. But he says if you surrender to me, then you can cross over it. So it is difficult to get out of the.
You put it this way: if you go someone's house, and if there is a dog there, you can't go inside the gate, isn't it? But if the owner of the house will, he said to the dog, "Sit down," and then you can go inside. The dog is a Maya. You can't cross over, and the owner of the house is a Krishna. Only Krishna will tell the dog will sit down and you can enter. But without owner of the house, you can't enter. The same thing. Maya is the dog, and if you're trying to enter the house, you have to surrender to the owner of the house. That's the only condition you can get in. Otherwise, you can't.
Just one thing came to mind on the subject more, like what if someone came to the restaurant and said, I'm a celiac? Does anything have wheat in it? Would you tell a lie then? No, you wouldn't, because the person
would
died.
say if you're a celiac, no. I'll be honest. I say if you're celiac, you better eat at home, because cross-contamination will be happen any restaurant. They say, oh, this is fully, but cross-contamination might be get you in the hospital.
Yes, of course.
That's my answer. You better cook at home. Yes, okay, we can see this is purely gluten-free, but inside the kitchen, we're cooking something with the gluten.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but you better cook at home. Any restaurant, you're not allowed to go to any restaurant in anywhere, because cross-contamination happen. Yeah. And then you're responsible for
that. In some situations, it's just the best policy is to tell the truth.
Yeah. Because it's like it's gluten-free, but we put the hing. Hing has got a gluten.
Yeah.
So it's very tiny, like, few particles would not be affecting. But I said, look, what? I'm sorry. And the one Raj's restaurant, he just say, oh, this is gluten-free, this is gluten-free. He doesn't even ask your celiac. Yeah, gluten-free, take this one. He probably put the hing in there, but he doesn't. But then again, if somebody got sick, how did the doctor knows you get sick, something you eat in the bhakti tree, or you eat something at the kebab shop? Can he differentiate that, like doctor? I mean, he said, okay, if somebody eat a bhakti tree, I said, okay, this is gluten-free. Okay, they ate it, and somehow they got sick. They will end up in the hospital, and then doctor says, oh, this. But how the doctor can say this is because of in your stomach in the curry, but before the curry, you eat something at the kebab shop. How do you differentiate it's air food, not, or maybe something you eat at home? Can the doctor differentiate that?
With these severe allergies like celiac, from my understanding, that it happens almost immediately after consuming the food. So it'll be pretty obvious.
Pretty
like
obvious.
One time we catered for an Indian wedding, and we were thinking Indians are okay with peanuts. So we had peanut in the curry. And one Indian kid, he was a peanut allergy, and his throat started to choke up immediately. Ooh. So there's no question what it was. It was from our food. It wasn't from his breakfast, you know, because it was an immediate reaction like that. So
But
we
in India, you think that peanuts are selling roasted peanut in India every street. So Indians
I know
are
we were not expecting Indians would have a problem with peanuts, but even the modern day Indians like that.
That's right.
Right?
That's the thing. Yeah. Now
So
that's the thing.
so we were just talking about Arjuna.
Yeah.
So he comes in a line of great kings, and Krishna's saying you're the best in that line. You're the best of the Bharatas. In fact, this whole earth, in the Vedic culture, this whole earth was called Bharatavarsha. 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 That was the name of the whole earth. And now that's regarded as just being India, as Bharat. That, you know, actually Modi wants to, instead of calling India, he wants to call it Bharat. He wants to change the name India to Bharat. But previously,
the Britishers gave this name India.
Okay.
India name is given by the Britishers.
Yeah. So
you know what's the where the India come from? Name? It's come from indigenous.
Okay.
So we are the indigenous people of India. That's
Okay.
why we call India.
Okay. But previously, Bharat used to be the name of the whole planet, not just India. It used to be the name of the whole planet until 5,000 years ago, at least. But as Kali Yuga came in, then everything got broken up into different countries and everything. But it just used to be one big culture, one big Vedic culture all over the world, and one main king. They'd have the emperor, like King Yudhisthira, then Parikshit, and then they'd have little regional kings for different small areas. But those other kings would all be subordinate to the one emperor. So they have one emperor and then many local.
It's got a little dynasty.
Oh
yeah.
So he's saying here, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world the yogi does or does not come back. So this is something interesting. So up till now, we've heard from Krishna that whatever you think about when you die, then that's what you're going to get a similar situation in next life, according to what's in your consciousness. And then he says, if you think of me, Krishna says, if you think of me when you die, then you'll come to me. If you think of me when you die, you'll come to me. You'll go back to the spiritual world. And if whatever you think about, then that's what you're going to get. So we know, like with Dhruva Maharaj, Bharat, also named Bharat Maharaj, then he thought of a deer, and then he became a deer. You know, so whatever you think about, that's what you're going to get. If you think of Krishna, you'll go to Krishna. If you think of a deer, you'll become a deer. If you think of a dog, you'll become a dog. If you think of a woman, you'll become a woman. But now he's going to say that he's saying that another factor that can affect where you go in your next life is the time. So not only what you're thinking about, but the time that you leave the body. So the time that you leave the body, the time of the year that you leave the body, that can also have an effect on where you go. Certain times of the year, if the yogi leaves his body, like it's saying here, he cannot come back. And if he leaves his body other times of the year, he can come back. And that's what we're going to be.
Does it mention like place you left the body? If you are one of the Dhamma, you left
that
your
can
body?
also have an effect. Yeah, like if you leave your body in Vrindavan or Mayapur, it's like guaranteed you'll go back to Godhead, unless you're committing offences there. But it's guaranteed you'll go to back.
But your offences as well. If you surrender to Krishna, he wiped out all the offences anyway. He said, just surrender into me, and I'll free you from all sins.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a sin and an offence. Offence is called aparad. So sin is called pap. So even more worse than pap or a sin is an aparad, an offence. And if you make an
Yeah.
offense, then it's not.
It's offenses like, you are intentionally doing something, and a pop innocently something happens.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily you knowingly doing it. Not necessarily knowingly. Even unknowingly doing something that Krishna doesn't like in the holy dham, then you may get a very bad reaction. You're not necessarily going to get liberated like that. Like if you're in the holy dham and you spend your time blaspheming devotees,
That's
then
okay.
obviously you can't expect to go back to Godhead.
Nah, it's a
What if you're in the holy dham and you're slaughtering cows for a living? You're not necessarily going to go back to Godhead. So you still have to be careful. It's not like automatic that you're in the holy dham you can go back to Godhead. And even like in Jagannath Puri, there's actually offences mentioned, aparad, to the holy dham, and even there's offences to prasadam, mahaprasadam. Like that. Like it said, if you're given prasadam in Jagannath Puri, you should eat it immediately. You shouldn't leave it. I say, I'll leave this till later. I'll have it later. That's an offense. Like that.
offense.
And you shouldn't walk over the prasadam. If you walk over the prasadam, that's an offense. Like that. There are certain things like that you're not allowed to do, like that. And whether you know about it or you don't know about it, still there'll be a reaction like that. So that's why, like Prabhupada said, generally for devotees shouldn't be more than 3 days in Vrindavan, because
Why?
the longer you stay there, there's more risk that you commit offenses. You have to be
But
careful.
then Pujari of the ISKCON temple, they live there.
Of course, yeah. So they have to be very careful. But, those that, like visitors from outside, they don't know so much about what it is to live in Vrindavan, then they have to be very careful. Maybe better not to spend too long. If you're going to live there, then you should know all the rules. You should know all the rules of living in Vrindavan, what to do, what not to do, everything, what you have to be careful about, like that. Otherwise, you actually, because I said, whatever good things you do in Vrindavan, you get 1,000 times the benefit of what doing it outside Vrindavan. And also, whatever bad, wrong things you do in Vrindavan, you get 1,000 times the reaction. So it's very bad. But like Mayapur, you don't get 1,000 times the reaction. You get 1,000 times the benefit, and no, and not multiplying the
If
bad.
you do any aparad in Mayapur, it's also.
It's not going to be so severely punished as what it would be in Vrindavan, because Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, very kind. But that doesn't mean we should still try to do that. Krishna's not stupid like that. If we try to cheat Krishna, then we'll end up being cheated ourselves. So you don't take advantage of Lord Chaitanya being merciful. But still, Prabhupada said in Vrindavan, have to be very careful. Have to be very careful what we do. We shouldn't commit any offences to the Brajvasis, those that are living there. That's very bad, like that. Because sometimes they might act in strange ways or whatever, but we shouldn't criticize them or get angry at them or anything like that. And yeah, we have to be very careful. So yeah, there's many factors. It's not so clear cut. Okay, I'm just thinking about something at the time of death, but also what time of the year you leave your body can also be a factor. And like you mentioned, where you are, if you are in a holy place or you're not in a holy place, that can be a factor. So there's many factors. So now Krishna's going to talk about that. The different times, what the effect of the kala, as it's mentioned here, kale, the time. Time is also a factor determining what happens at the time of death, like that. Okay, let's read the purport.
Yeah. The unalloyed devotee of Supreme Lord, who are totally surrendered soul, do not care when they leave their body or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hand and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotee and who depend instead of on such method of spiritual realization um, as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, must leave the body at suitable time in order to sure whether or not they return to the world of birth and death. The yogi is perfect. He can select the time and the situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his a- accidentally, accidentally,
Accidentally.
accidentally
Accidentally. Mm.
passing away, uh, pass, passing away at a certain suitable time.
Mm.
The suitable time at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladeva, Vidyabhushana,
Mm.
the Sanskrit word kala used herein refer to the presiding deity of time.
Mm. So everything in the material world has someone in control of it. So even time there's a person,
Yep.
a deity in control of time.
Yep.
Like we know there's a person in control of the sun. Who's that?
It's the sun god,
Yeah, sun god, Suryadev. And a person in control of the wind. Who's that?
Vayudev.
Yeah, and the water,
It's
the ocean.
Jaldev,
Yeah,
ocean. Yeah.
yeah, Varuna,
Yeah.
Varuna Dev. Yeah. So there's someone in control, even like the rain. Who's in control of the rain? Indra.
Indra.
Indra's in
Yes.
control of the rain. Yeah. So, and there's a moon god, and like that is a god of the mountains and everything like that. So even time is someone in control of time, and that's being referred to here. The presiding deity of time. Mm. So that the time that also comes into auspicious. There's auspicious time, means a good time to die, and there's bad times to die, inauspicious times. That's looking at it materially. But as Prabhupada mentions in the beginning of the purport, that pure devotees, they're not worried about the time they die. Why isn't a devotee worried about the time they die if there's
Because
a good time
they
to die?
surrender to Krishna and
Yeah, because surrender to Krishna. So he's, hands up, he's
that they,
completely depending on Krishna. Whatever Krishna can send me to heaven, or he can send me to hell, or send me back to Godhead, or whatever. Whatever he wants to do, that's up to Krishna. So the devotee doesn't have any anxiety, any fear about death or anything. That whatever Krishna wants to arrange for him. Hey, what's his focus? He's just focused on, I want to serve Krishna. Let me serve Krishna. But those that are not pure devotees, and Prabhupada mentions the karma yogis, jnana yogis, and like that, these Astanga yogis like that, then especially and Prabhupada mentions these hatha yogis or Astanga yogis, they get really into selecting the auspicious time. They want to leave at the best time. And then at that, when it's the best time, then they'll push the prana, the air, with the soul is held in the air. They'll push it up through the top of the head, and then come out through the top of the head when the time is correct. And what's the correct time? And Krishna's going to be mentioning that is when the sun takes a particular course in the sky that's auspicious, and another course is inauspicious. So actually, for 6 months of the course of the sun, the 6 months of the year, that's where the sun goes on the north towards the northern hemisphere, then that's the auspicious time. And when it goes for 6 months along the line of the southern hemisphere, then that's inauspicious time to pass away. So Krishna's going to talk about that. So that's particularly important for the yogis, but not important, as Prabhupada's pointing out, for the devotees. That's not so much of a problem there for the devotees. That's there. And as Prabhupada mentions that you can accidentally pass away at the wrong time, then you blew it. So that's the problem with this whole idea. Oh yeah, I'm gonna die at the right time. But how can you make sure you're gonna die at the right time? Because you could die anytime. You know, you might plan, oh, I'm gonna die when the sun is going on the northern hemisphere. But what if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? Then your whole plan is spoiled. So that's the problem with all these material plans and endeavors we make, that often we get defeated. You know, our plans get all mucked up. I mean, like, we can all think about plans that we've made that didn't happen. Can you think of any? Any plans that we had and they never worked out? It didn't work out. So that's very common, isn't it? It's very common in the material world.
Yes, lot of things that happen, like, you plan something and didn't work out because
Didn't work out,
Krishna
and
was
that's normal. We don't even think about it because it happens so often.
yeah, that's
It
right.
happens so often. So like that, you know, if you plan that you're going to die at this right time, but what if you die at the wrong time? You know, you can't control, you know, we're helpless. So that's what the devotee realizes. There's no point trying to control everything because you can't. You just leave it in the hands of the real controller. That's Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He's the supreme controller. So he's the one really in control, and we'll leave it up to him. The good news is the one person that is truly in control of everything and everyone, he's a good guy. You know, he's the nicest person. You know, so the devotee has faith that Krishna's in control, and that would be a bad thing if he was an evil person. But the good news is that the person in control, Krishna, he's the most kind person. He's the most compassionate person. So devotee puts complete faith in Krishna. He's in control, and will leave that control, you know, completely up to Krishna, and he knows what's best for us. Often we think we know what's best for us, but not necessarily that's what's best. You know, so Krishna knows what's best for us. So better we leave it up to Krishna and have faith in that. And sometimes, you know, things might seem to happen to us that seem bad or whatever. But a devotee, a pure devotee, knows that there's nothing bad, that even what seems to be bad is actually good. You know, Krishna's got some plan, some arrangement. You know, like, even like Parikshit, right? He's the king of the world, and he got cursed to die in 7 days. We say, well, that's really bad. But
No, it's
was it
pretty
bad?
good actually. At least he
It's
know
good.
when he's going.
Yeah, he
Now
knew he had
you and
7
me, we
days to
don't know.
prepare. Yeah. Prabhupada would say like that. He was lucky. He knew he had not less than 7 days. But we don't know whether we got 7 hours or 7 minutes or 7 seconds. Yeah. And then the other thing that was really good, that turned out to be an amazing opportunity to meet Shukadeva Goswami and then just hear about the glories of the Lord day and night for 7 days. You know, and then at the end of the 7 days, what happened? He went straight back home, back to Godhead. That you can't get better than that. So was that bad that he got cursed?
No, that
No,
was good.
great. It was very good. So ultimately, a devotee sees everything as good.
Yeah.
Even we could look at so many things that we ordinarily think are bad. Like, you know, a family member died, or we got some really bad disease, you know, like you got cancer and stuff, or I had my appendix
No,
burst.
it's my cancer is good. I come to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, that's right. So we can see that because that bad thing happened, it led you to something very good, to your Krishna consciousness, you know, like that. So, and it could be so many things, you know, we lose our job, we get a divorce, or so many things happen. There's a war in the country or whatever, but we often see that through these calamities, you know, it leads us to take shelter of Krishna, you know, and then Krishna will lift us up, you know, and then we become Krishna conscious, and so many things, wonderful things happen like that. Like Prabhupada, look at what happened to him. His business failed. His business completely failed, and then he had to leave his wife because she was just crazy, and that forced him to become a vanaprastha and then take sannyas. And then, you know, he had heart attacks and so many things, but just look at his life just blossomed in Krishna consciousness. You know, so Krishna is making some arrangements for us to come back to Godhead. So that's the big plan. That's the big picture. The big picture is that God has a plan to get all the souls to come back to Godhead. And he's making some arrangements to make that happen. But from our point of view, we can't see that big picture, and we just see that, well, this is not working out for me, or whatever happened. But it's actually for our best interests, our real best.
Plan.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next verse.
Yeah.
Agnir Jyotirah Shukla.
Agni Jyotirihara Shukla.
Sanmasatayanam.
Sanma. Which one is you reading? Sanma.
Yeah, text 24. Then
Yeah.
Sanmasatarayanam.
Sanma sa Uttarayanam.
Tatra prayata gachanti.
Tatra prayata gachanti.
Brahma vido janaha.
Brahma vido jana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of fairy God in the light. At an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or duration of 6 months, when the sun travel in the north. So this is for the Josh, not for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Not for us. He has to figure it out, that calculation, all these. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it. It sounds very complicated. Yeah, so all this complicated things is for the non-devotees. The non-devotees have to deal with
So
these.
he's doing a hot yoga practice. So he's the one worried about that, not us.
Yeah. But you'll see that 99% of hatha yogis in Kali Yuga, they don't even know about this. This is their process. This is their process. But the bhakti yogis know more about hatha yoga
We're not even hatha
than
yogi,
the
and
hatha
we
yoga
know.
people. Because all the hatha yoga people know about is the exercises and the breathing. But they don't know about all these other things, like the auspicious time, inauspicious time. But we know more about it than what they know about it. You know, that's the crazy thing.
Oh, well.
So that's the auspicious time, is like it says at the end, during the 6 months when the sun travels to the north.
Yeah.
So 6 months of the year, the sun goes on a track in the northern hemisphere. That's like now when it's winter, when the winter here, through the part way through the autumn and then the winter and the first part of spring, those 6 months, that means the sun is going in the northern hemisphere. So in the southern hemisphere, where we are in Australia and New Zealand, this is we're experiencing our winter and that when the sun is going in the northern part. So that's the auspicious time. So now's the time to die if you're going to do that.
If I had a plan.
Like
All
that.
we have to tell Josh, we don't need to worry about it. For us, every time is good. Only Josh, this is the time to go, buddy.
Yeah. And and also should be during the daytime. So
Yes.
it's when it's the right time of year, but also the right time of the day. So passing away during the daytime, not the nighttime. And also mentioned during, see, in every month you have 2 weeks, the moon is getting smaller. That's called the waning
Yeah.
moon. And 2 weeks it's getting bigger. That's called the waxing. So waxing moon means the moon is increasing. It's increasing up till the Purnima. So recently we just had Purnima. So now after Purnima, now it's waning
Declining. Yeah.
again, means reducing. So now don't die now. It's declining. So now it's getting smaller.
Yeah.
So now don't die now, and now is not a good time. Yeah. So during the in the 2 weeks of the month where the moon is increasing, that's good. And also the 6 months of the year when the sun is in the northern hemisphere, that's good. And then during the daytime, not in the nighttime. See, because it says there in the light. See,
Yeah.
it
In
said
the light.
during the influence of the fiery god in the light.
Yeah.
So during,
Like a
if you pass
daytime, like a
away
midday.
in the daytime when the sun is in the sky, that's auspicious. If you pass away when the sun's in the sky in the light, and if you pass away during the waxing of the moon, that's auspicious. And pass away during the 6 months of the northern hemisphere, the sun is going that side. That's also good, like that. So these are part of God's principles that He's set up the system. But the thing is, so this is not wrong or not bad or anything. But the point is, the devotee is actually transcendental. For a devotee is transcendental, that doesn't need to follow all these material rules. So these material rules are for people that are within the material consciousness. But the devotee is completely Krishna conscious, then, like I said, Prabhupada said, completely depend on Krishna, completely leave everything up to Krishna. But these are actually Krishna's principles. These are Vedic principles. So this is nothing wrong with these things. This is actually true. This is correct. But a devotee doesn't worry about these things because he's so surrendered to Krishna. So yeah, we can look at the purport.
Yeah. When the firelight day and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who makes arrangement for passage of the soul. At the time of the death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain that impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and the place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at auspicious moment, then they will not return to cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at auspicious or inauspicious moment by accidentally or arrangement. So Krishna conscious, we are on the right track. We don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's it. Accidentally or arrangement or accidentally or auspicious or unauspicious. That's it.
This is the anxiety-free path.
That's
Stress-free.
right. I
path.
tell people that this is the that drug-free treatment.
Yeah, no bad side effects.
No guaranteed drug-free treatment. No side effect whatsoever. You
Yeah.
can take it, and then benefit is guaranteed. Whether this life or next life, you will definitely get a benefit out of it.
Some interesting points here Prabhupada mentions is that I mean, how is it that if you pass away during the daytime, how is that actually helping you to your soul to get elevated or whatever? Or when the waxing moon is there or whatever like that? And Prabhupada mentions because the presiding deity is actually helping the soul to progress. If they're dying during the presence of that presiding deity, then that deity will help that soul to come up to a better position. And one of them, so he mentioned, if you die during the sunlight, that will help you, and during those 6 months of the northern hemisphere, that will help you. And then during the waxing, two weeks out of the month of the waxing moon, that will help you. So that means in the presence of the light, the sun like that, and the moon. So the moon god will help you if you pass away during that waxing time. And then the sun god will help you in the light. And what I didn't mention before is the fire. So if you die in front of the fire, so then the fire god Agni will help you. So then Agni Dev will help you. So that's the idea, is that those particular demigods in charge of those parts of the creation, if you die in their presence, then they will help you like that. But interestingly, what Prabhupada mentions, even if those particular demigods help elevate the soul, dying at the auspicious time, then where are you going to end up is only mention the Brahmajyoti. So you can't actually go back to Godhead by this process. Even if you pick the most auspicious time, you die at the perfect time of the year, and at the perfect time of the day, and the perfect time of the moon, and right in front of the fire and everything, but you're still only going to get as far as the merging into the Brahmajyoti. You're not going to end up in Krishna Loka and Goloka Vrindavan with Krishna and the cows like that. That's not possible. So the only way to get to Krishna Loka is by bhakti. But by these other paths, you might get as far, if you're lucky, as far as merging in the Brahmajyoti. But even that's not a very good result. So and it's so hard because you have to die at the right time in the right place and everything. And then even then you don't get a very good outcome. It's not a very good result. Because as we know, then even going to the Brahmajyoti, most often after some time they fall back down from the Brahmajyoti, come back down to earth again. And why do they fall from the Brahmajyoti? It's mentioned because there's no rasa there. There's no enjoyment. There's no suffering there. So there's nothing negative. But there's nothing really positive either, because there's no loving relationships. You just merged into light, you know. Can you imagine what it would be like just floating in light? I mean, you get a bit boring after a while, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't even sit still for 5 minutes without wanting to do something.
Even if somebody says that, look, you're not going to die forever. Still boring. Really? When 100 years, 200 years, 300 years? What are you going to be like? It's like, but Prabhuji, have you decided that where you're gonna be dropping your body to Mayapur or something, or
No, I haven't thought
you haven't
about it.
decided?
No. Yeah, I'm not thinking about that at this point. I mean, if I got news today that I've got cancer and got 2 months to live, yeah, maybe I would. Maybe I would go to Vrindavan or Mayapur or something. Yeah, sure. But at the moment,
at the moment you are young. You don't need to worry about it.
Well, not really. I mean, I nearly died a couple of years ago in my appendix burst.
No, that's a common problem too.
No. If the appendix actually pops, then more often than not, then the people die. Most, I think you'd have well over 50% of people that had the appendix actually burst. Then they don't make it. I mean,
how do you find
there's
out?
Heaps of people have had the appendix removed. That's not dangerous. That's not dangerous when they remove the appendix. It's the cases where they don't remove it and it just bursts before they remove it.
Did you got any signs to remove it and you didn't remove it, or how do you find out like
No,
your
I had a
appendix?
severe stomach ache for 3 days,
Okay,
and
so
then it
but
burst.
you haven't got any doctor any suggestion there. You have to remove the appendix
Oh, I
before.
hadn't gone to the doctor until after it burst.
Okay, but no, if it's previous any year before or something and regular checkup, doctor didn't
No,
mention
no
anything.
regular checkup, just depending on Krishna.
So it just
Yeah,
get
so
busted.
anyway.
But,
So yeah, death can happen at any time, but yeah, we just depending on Krishna.
it's
Depending on
like you know what happened yesterday? That a chef, he was complaining about that. It's got a little pain under the belly button on the left side. I said, it might be a hernia. You got to go and check. And he was just yes, no, yes, no. Finally, he went to the doctor, and then doctor did ask for an ultrasound, and the report come yesterday. Yes, he got a hernia. So I said, listen, Matt, don't heavy lifting is gonna get worse. But he said, what can I do? It's just like I'm a chef. I have to carry all these pots for the rice and all that things there. Who's gonna do that? And Sunday he goes to cooking in the temple. Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
In a bag of potato, the 20-kilo bag of potato, carry that from the cool room to the kitchen. So I said, look, I stopped going to temple just because of that. Doctor said, look, it's your hernia Gulshan. If you keep carrying that, it's going to lead to operation. But if you don't carry that, it won't disturb. If you don't disturb him, it's fine. So it's been 1 year, I'm fine because I'm not carrying any heavy weight. So he said, as long as you don't carry the weight, it's fine. If you keep carrying the weight, the muscle gotta get torn more, and because of you had operation there before, so this gonna be bit might be difficult because you already have done we done already surgery in there, so
yeah.
it may be like not the keyhole, we have to open it up. If we open it up all that, it'll be harder to that
Recover.
healing. Yeah, healing is process longer. So I'm not,
Yeah.
so I told him, he said, what can I do?
Mm.
I said, I don't know, you talk to the higher authorities, but if you keep carrying that, these 20 kilo of the pots and all that, you're gonna get worse and end up with the operation. And then operation is like the doctor already put in the list of operation, but they say it's gotta be a wait because he's not a private, he's like a Medicare and the government
Yeah.
scheme.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. If we keep carrying that, and then they say 2-3 months, but it like in a government scheme, it can be 5-6 months.
Sure.
It's not like a urgent like a mine like a cancer stage 3. They did
Mm.
operation within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but for this one, I don't know. Um, it's I said talk to the higher authorities, and he said, well, what else I can do? I said, well, I don't know.
Yeah. I
It's very
mean,
hard.
we all have to take care of our own health. That's very important. That's number one. Mm.
And then
Like
like for me,
Chit Rupa hurt his back in a car
yes,
accident with Kalia, and the doctors also told him you can't carry heavy stuff. You're going to stuff your back. And Chit Rupa was telling us that of the problem, and I said he shouldn't be lifting the pots when the Sunday
no,
feast and all this.
yeah,
He said I have to and all this stuff. I said no, you don't have to. You just have to say I'm not able to do it. I can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you have to be just
Be
strong
honest.
about that.
Yeah,
Be honest and strong.
yeah.
And like we
Now
were talking about
was
before, being honest. You just
yeah,
have to be
I was
honest. Like
thinking,
I'm not able to
what
do
can
it.
I do? He was telling me today. I said, I don't know. You have to talk to higher authorities. What can I do? He's the only chef, and then he has to carry the pots of rice. When you boil the rice, it's
Yeah,
full
but I
of
mean,
water.
if you're cooking for the restaurant and it's like 50 people coming, that's not a very big pot. That's not a very big pot. But
No,
if
it's
you're cooking for 250 people at the temple, that's a big pot. That's a big
yes. He
pot.
goes Sunday.
But
He goes to the temple as well.
I know, I know. So that service, he should probably stop that one. Or I mean, he can throw the masala in and everything, and someone else can lift the pot. But during the restaurant cooking shouldn't be a problem because it's only like 50 people a day or whatever, maximum
No,
80.
it's not a question of 50 people. When he boiled the rice,
Hmm.
it's got a full of water and the rice. So it's at least 20 kilo. And then once he boiled, and then he strained to put it on this side of the sink to strain it.
Yeah, but I mean, for one day's restaurant shouldn't be 20 kilo. Not
Oh, no,
20
no.
kilo.
It's 5 kilo rice, but the water, he boiled in the water and then strained. So the pot has become 20 kilo.
Well, he has to just use a different technique. I mean, I could
Yeah.
figure out a technique where you
Yeah,
don't have to
we have
carry it
got a
full of.
rice cooker as well that we can cook. Now we have got a rice cooker in the temple as well, rice cooker in the restaurant as well.
Or if he's clever, he's probably cooking once a day rice, but he should
Yeah,
cook in the morning for the lunch and in the evening he should cook it fresh for the
yeah.
dinner.
He can just do like
And
a
then
2 kilo
it's
each
lighter.
time. He don't need to
Yeah.
cook 5 kilo in one go. 2 kilo each time.
Yeah, 2 kilo each time. And then it'll be more fresh for the evening as well,
Yeah,
which should be
I
even better.
told him. I said, look, you have to look after your body,
So, I mean, you
otherwise.
see, that's the thing. You can use your brain, work it out. That's why we're a human being. We have a
Yeah,
good sense.
it's
So
it,
if your health is a priority, then you'll work out a way to do it. Like, because I realized after I had this appendix burst, I have to work harder on my health. So now I do yoga every day and I do pranayama every day. I do self-massage every day because I'm taking it seriously because no one else is going to look after my health.
what's the
And what
appendix
else?
job in the body? What appendix does in the body? Why it's in their body? What's the reason for that? What it do?
It apparently produces some beneficial things for the stomach. for
Okay.
the
Digestion?
process of the stomach. Yeah, so it produces some things that are used by the stomach.
Yeah, because
So
every organ in the
in
body has to have some use.
the Western science says the appendix has no use, but we don't
Uh,
agree with that. According to
because
Ayurveda,
if the God put it there, there's a use in there.
God's not a retarded idiot. He's got a brain, so he doesn't make anything that's useless. So everything has a use. We
Of
might not
course.
know what it is, but that doesn't mean it has no use.
Nah, definitely.
But according to
So
Ayurveda, it produces some things that are used by the stomach for its process.
your appendix has been removed. So do
No,
you?
it's not removed. It's not
It's
removed.
not. Oh, okay.
I still have it.
It's not removed, but
If
they still have it.
I asked the doctor, he said no. If the appendix pops, it automatically heals itself. It's amazing. It's self-healing. The appendix bursts and then it heals itself again. He said they only try to take it out if they can get to it before it pops.
Okay.
If they can operate before it bursts, they'll take it out. If it bursts, they leave it. They don't touch it because it heals itself up. But
So yours.
why they try to take it out before it bursts? Because if it bursts, it throws all kind of rubbish into the stomach, and that
Yeah. So
creates
that caused
infection.
that. Yeah, death. Yeah, that's
Infection.
infection. Yeah.
And I did. I had a massive infection in the stomach
But
like that. So
it's been 2 years now. Is it 2 years?
yeah,
So it's okay now. Now you're
it's still
normal.
not
Like
perfect. My stomach's still not very good.
really, it heals by itself.
No, I mean the appendix heals by itself, but it does a lot of damage to the stomach and stuff. So yeah, it's still taking me time to get back to better. Anyway, it's okay. No complaints.
Oh, well,
No.
like it's old age and disease and death. It's just
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it.
yeah. You can't stop these things from happening. Mm.
Hey,
But
you
yeah, so it's saying even if you do get the right time and the right place and everything, the best you're going to get is
yeah,
to merge
Brahmajyoti.
into Brahmajyoti. But that's nothing brilliant. That's
No,
nothing brilliant. And it's so difficult, such a difficult process
yeah,
to go to the Brahmajyoti. But we have
yeah.
such an easy process, and that's
To
to
go
get
to
a
Krishna
better
Loka.
result, to go back home,
Yeah,
back to Godhead
of
forever, and
course.
never fall down
Yeah,
again.
it's like a less investment and the big profit.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the process we follow is so simple, as you know, chanting,
Yeah,
dancing, feasting, like that. But the difficulty is that it requires us to surrender to Krishna. And that is the thing. The soul is so rebellious. The soul's so rebellious that we don't want to surrender to Krishna. And what's the difficulty surrendering to Krishna? Because Krishna will then give us some instructions.
Yeah.
And then the problem is because we're such a rebellious soul, we don't want to follow them. Like, for example, what does Krishna say? No meat eating. But we don't want to follow that. No intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. And, chant 16 rounds, or they get up early in the morning. And because the soul is such a rebel, we don't want to do what Krishna tells us to do. None of these things are difficult. None of these things that Krishna tells us to do are difficult. But because the soul's so stubborn, such a rebel, we don't want to follow. We'd rather, spend our time pressing our nose and doing the asanas and everything and all the jnana speculation and everything, and work out when's the right time of the sun and the moon and everything. We'd rather do all that. We'd rather do all of that complicated stuff than just do the simple thing of just doing what does Krishna say, like that. So that's the difficulty. We're just so stubborn.
Is it somewhere? Is it the ahankara there? That's why that those who are yogis doesn't, they do all these things there, but rather than surrender to Krishna, is that some ego comes in between?
Yeah, definitely, because we all see that's the problem. We want to take Krishna's position. We want to be the controller. We want to be the
So
enjoyer and
those
the control.
yogis think they are in the control.
Yeah, and
When they
that's what
leave
I'm
the
saying.
body.
You're trying to control when you're dying too. So you think you're in
Yeah,
control. Actually, you're not in control.
that's ego.
No, Krishna has a plan when you're going to die. I mean, you think you've got your own plan. That's the problem. So that's the false ego, that we think we're the controller, we're the enjoyer and everything. We're the creator, like that.
Yeah.
So this is false ego. This is the situation.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the difficulty. That people don't want to surrender to Krishna. They don't want to do what Krishna wants. They'd rather just create their own speculation, process, path, whatever like that. And so Prabhupada actually mentions, even that people don't know about all this good times to die, bad times to die and everything. Sometimes by accident they might leave their body at an auspicious time, and they can also get a very good destination just by that happening. But if that happens, if a person dies at an auspicious time, that means they probably were doing good karma. They were doing, good karma, some welfare activities, or a very pious person, maybe very religious or pious person like that. And I mean, we've heard some amazing stories about not necessarily, perfectly Krishna conscious people, but people that were just very virtuous. They were very good-hearted and lived very simple lives and very regulated lives and everything like that. And even they would say, like one day before they died, they would call all the family to come, call all the family to come, and then see all the family, all the kids and grandkids and everything, and then they would just pass away. So it's like everything just went very well.
It happened to my dad as well. 2005, he had a heart attack. So they rushed to take him to the doctor in the night time, and then doctor says doctor put the stunt that open the valve.
Stent.
So yeah, and then within few hours that operation done, and the next day or two, and he discharged. He come back home, and then all my relatives came to see that. Oh, my dad got a heart attack. Dad got a heart attack. So everybody come and visiting that home. So because within a day, actually, it's very minor operation. Next day or something, you can discharge. And then for that 1 week, everybody has come. Everybody come and visit that. By end of the week, he passed away. So he was he met everyone who came, and how you doing? How you doing? Everyone, they coming there from mom's side, dad's side, everyone there. And my family was telling, end of the week, by Saturday, he just passed away.
Mm.
So it's like it's, I don't know, it's maybe the heart was, a lot of damage happened, but they still wants to make some money, the doctors. So they did something. So because my sister says that I heard that a doctor says heart is very damaged, nothing can we do. He said at least we do put some, stunt in there, so at least make some money out of it. So yeah, so it's
Yeah.
happened there. And then he said,
Yeah.
oh, you don't need to worry about it, because my dad was dependent on my brother. Brother worked for airlines. So he said,
Yeah.
airlines will pay, you don't need to worry about it. I said, yeah, that's what it's like. But anyway, it's happened, and then they did the operation within a week, and then he's passed away. 9 o'clock in the night time, he just had a meal, and then mom was just warming the garam doodh,
Mm.
before he going to bed. It was
Yeah.
9:30, and then he just called my mom's name. My mom's name is Krishna. So
Well,
he
your
called,
mum's name is Krishna.
yeah, my mom's name is Krishna.
Wow.
So
How's
he
that?
called my mom, and my mom says, "Wait, I'm bringing the milk."
Yeah.
And by the time she took the milk, and he was gone.
Wow. Just see what a beautiful culture it is, by naming the
Yeah.
child, a name of
Or
God, and then we're always calling that name of God. And
that's right.
that's perfect. You just
On the
before you
time of the
die, you
death,
call out
you call
Krishna,
Krishna. That's right.
and then how auspicious, such a beautiful culture.
That's right.
Mm,
So, I mean,
mm.
it's the way he was so honest in everything. So,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a rebirth or not, but all his life, work hard, look after everything. He did the right thing.
yeah,
And then very peacefully within a week, it's no such thing like, months and months. Some people are like, on the
mm,
disease and things like that. But yeah,
yeah,
nicely just left.
yeah.
But yeah, so
So, like it's
that's
mentioning, sometimes people leave their body at an auspicious time, even without planning, even without any planning or anything they do. And sometimes you make all the best plans to leave at the right time and it doesn't work out.
yeah,
So
that's right.
ultimately, we can realize we're not in control, God's
No,
in
that,
control. And that's what the
that,
devotee realizes. If God's
yeah.
in control, why do I going to get involved in it? Why am
Why do
I
I
going
have to
to
worry?
get involved
Yeah,
in when I die? I'm going to leave it up to Him. And often he makes nice arrangements for those that don't even plan anyway. So why do
yes.
I have to bother?
Why do I? Yeah, yes, that's
We
right.
should
100.
just see what we should do is just try to make sure we are, behaving always in the right way as much as possible, doing our dharma. We should always work according to our dharma and don't do wrong things, always try to do the right thing, and that way, everything will be auspicious. And especially the right thing is what Krishna wants. That's ultimately what's the right thing, whatever
That's
Krishna
amazing.
wants. Like we know that Krishna told Yudhisthira to tell a lie
Yeah,
that Ashwatthama's dead, to
yeah,
tell
yeah.
Dronacharya that Ashwatthama's dead, and he didn't want to do that, thinking that's the wrong thing. But actually, the right thing is to do what Krishna
Because
wants.
Krishna says that do, and then when the currents, the chariot was and stuck in the mud,
Yeah,
and then he has no weapons, and then Krishna says to Arjuna, "Kill him,"
yeah, yeah.
and he says, "Oh, that's not a dharma." And then Krishna says, "Are you telling me what's a dharma? What do you know about dharma? What do you know about dharma?"
Yeah,
He said, "You
yeah,
telling me a dharma?" He said,
yeah,
"Forgot that. How did they kill Abhimanyu? How did they put your wife that bring it down into the with the hair to his like your cousins and all that, taking all
yeah.
these saris and all? You telling me in a battlefield? You teaching me about the dharma? Just kill him."
Yeah.
And then because the thing is the Krishna knows that, he said once he get his bow and arrow, you can't kill him.
Mm.
Krishna knows. He said, "This is the right time. Kill him. This is the perfect time. Kill him because he has got no bow and arrow, and he's taking his chariot's wheel stuck in the mud. He said, this is the perfect time, kill him. Otherwise, once he get up, you got no chance. Because he was very, very good warrior, Karma.
Yeah.
So that's he's
But he
telling me
was,
what's
he
a
was
dharma.
cursed. He was cursed also that he would forget his mantras when he needed them the most. And also,
Because
he was also cursed that his chariot would sink into the earth. I think that was
because when he got the the study bow and arrow and all that, like he says he's a brahmana, but he lied to that. And he said, well, he cursed him. Yeah, so that's the thing. But yeah, no, if the Krishna says, like, you do, that's it. There's no way, no if, no but. Because Krishna knows that, because he was a great warrior, but he was opposite side of the Krishna. There is no
Yeah.
chance of winning. No chance of winning, no matter
Yeah.
how great you are. If you're standing opposite Krishna, that's it. You gotta go. No way. But if the Krishna say that right and wrong, he knows. Krishna knows what's right, what's wrong. He say, you do. That's it. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's Arjuna was in trouble in first, second chapter, but then later on he said, yeah, that's right. All his things.
So yeah, we should always try to act in such a way that Krishna would be pleased. That's the main thing, and definitely that'll bring a good result, good outcome.
Krishna will be pleased that Krishna will be pleased if you come 26th of August next month to New Gokula Farm. Krishna will be pleased. Because 26th is Janmashtami.
Janmashtami, yeah. I was thinking that's what you were
coming?
Making. No plans at this point. Let's see. Actually, Jayanti's got to go to Melbourne for her guru's Vyasa Puja. Radha Vyasapriya Swami Vyasa Puja is in Melbourne this year, and that's around that time. It's actually Balaram Jayanti, just before Balaram Jayanti.
Yeah.
She'll be in Melbourne. Yeah. So.
Only she? You're not coming, Prabhuji?
No, it's just her. Just her. I got to man the fort. I'll be manning the fort. And
you can come. It's okay for a week or so. You can take a little time off from the farm.
Yeah, but I know anyway. It's her god family and that like that. So I just let them have a nice time together.
You can come and she can go to Melbourne. You can stay in New Gokula.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's okay. You know what the right thing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for thinking of us. Thank you.
Because you can stay here, and then how about your teeth and all? You need to go to Dr. Aniket?
I do actually. My teeth are falling apart as always.
Well, then we have to come. Might as well is the perfect time. You can come and sort your teeth, and then Mataji can go to Vyas Puja, and you can spend